If you are a minister right now and you are preaching, you're trying to get your content online, a lot of us need some help. There have been a lot of emails and messages that I've gotten, phone conversations about people who are trying to get set up who really don't know where to start. And so this video and the videos that will follow are intended to help you get started, to get your content online in a presentable way that will help your congregation have some sense of continuity and normalcy even as we're not able to meet. And so my hope and prayer is that this is helpful to you, that it's helpful to your church, and that it's practical and simple. If there's anything that you don't understand, please ask that in the comments below. And if you're not registered for YouTube and you can't comment below, or go ahead and register and comment, just text me. My cell phone number is 334-750-9919. You can email me at matthewdabbs@hotmail.com. And so I would love to help you if you need some help with this, because a lot of people are struggling to do this well and do this right. And so I want to explain a few things, from universal concepts to a simple setup to a more complicated setup, that may answer some questions that you have and get you going a little quicker down the road, especially as it pertains to the sermon. Now, we can talk about Bible class another time. We'll talk about Zoom and how to use Zoom. But first, let's talk about getting the sermon online. And the first thing that you have to wrestle with is, how are you going to deliver the content? Are you going to live stream it, which is you videoing live on Sunday morning at your normal worship time, where you email out or put it on your Facebook page for your church, like 10:30, we're going to have a live stream, and you're going to go to your church page and hit the live video recording, or go to YouTube if you have a YouTube channel for your church. If not, let's talk about how to set that up, and live stream from either YouTube or Facebook. That's going to have you live. It has pluses and minuses. The pluses are that your congregation gets to just hear you live and gets to comment on the side, gets to connect with some people as they comment, say amen or whatever you get in the side. Maybe that will encourage them to say amen when they come back to church someday, to the assembly. But live stream does that. It gives us the opportunity to interact with people live as we're talking, and for them to interact with each other during the sermon time. It gets everyone watching at the same time, which gives some continuity and it gives some encouragement. Now, the downside of live stream is that you don't have as much control over your content. And what I mean by that is, if there's a glitch, or you mess up, or you misspeak, or it lags, say you're on Wi-Fi that's poor at the office or at home, or someone at home's on Wi-Fi that's poor and it's lagging, you're going to get some more problems and more potential for glitches and issues on live stream than you are on pre-recorded. Pre-recorded content gives you more control over the finished product. Now, I will say it's more work to do pre-recorded content than it is live stream, because live stream, you're just going to talk, and when it's done, and you've done what you're going to do. Pre-recording takes more time. It can take some editing, although we can do this very simply and quickly. But it's going to take more effort to do pre-recording. My preference is pre-recording, because I do like to have a little bit more control over the outcome, but it has taken me some time to learn some things and some skills that have enabled me to do that. And that's what I want to pass on to you as simply as possible. So first, are you going to live stream, or are you going to pre-record? If you're going to live stream, really your two options are Facebook and YouTube. If you're going to live stream, I prefer YouTube, because not all your members, especially your older members, are going to have a Facebook account. And since they may not have Facebook accounts, YouTube is going to be just a universal link that you can send out. So I want to start with just the basics, the basic universal things that you have to consider when it comes to setting up a video recording. And I'm actually breaking some of those rules in this video, because I want to be close to my laptop and be able to show you some things during this video. And so this is not probably the most ideal way of doing this. I am following a few of my rules, but not all of my rules. And so here's some things that are just universal no matter what you do. Universal rules that no matter if you're filming on a smartphone or a DSLR, or you're live streaming or pre-recording, these are just things that you're going to want to pay attention to that you may not be familiar with. The first thing is this, is when you set up, and if it's with your smartphone, use the backward facing camera. So you can use your screen as a monitor to see yourself, whether live stream again or pre-recording. But what you want to do is, you don't want to necessarily be right in the middle of the shot. And I mess this up sometimes myself. You want to actually move yourself to a third. There's kind of rules of thirds, where there's a third of the screen here, a third of the screen here, a third of the screen here, and you want to put yourself in one of the outside 2/3. And what that does is it really just has a better feel and a better look to people when you're just not centered. It just kind of gets people more engaged in what it is that you're saying, and gets people more focused on you than if you're just right in the middle of the screen just talking like this. And so, the second thing that you want to do that is really hard, it takes some practice. Do your best just to look right at the camera lens. Okay, if I'm over here looking at my monitor and I'm paying attention to this because I'm seeing myself move, when we see movement, our eyes draw to it. And so you're gonna have yourself looking off to the side rather than looking right at people. It's more engaging, I think, to be looking right at people. There's some difference of opinion on that, but I think it's kind of awkward or weird when people are like looking at almost like cue cards up here or something. Really try to look at the lens. Now on your smartphone, on the rear-facing camera, we have our smartphone here. Now see, that's on the forward-facing camera because it's looking at me. Now, if I hit the rear-facing camera, see, now that's looking back at my camera. So I'm gonna video myself, put this on a tripod and video myself. And I want to be looking at the lens, the little lens, not here at the screen at myself. I want to be looking at that lens. And even as I'm saying this, I'm watching myself because I'm trying to make sure this is in the shot. So that's kind of ironic. So you really want to avoid distractions. You want to follow a rule of thirds, is put yourself either here or here, not directly in the middle. And you want to really focus in on that lens, like you're really looking at people, not really off to the side. It just doesn't seem so engaging to look off to the side. Now the next thing is you really want to use some kind of good lighting, like get yourself in a room that's full of windows. Like this room has some really good overhead lighting. It has good windows. And I also have a little bit of lighting behind the camera that I can show you by using my backwards facing camera and show you my light. So there's my camera and there's the light that's up above it. And that's really important just to get good lighting on your face, that your face is just not like covered in shadows, that it just kind of gets distracting if you're like in and out of shadows or shadows are going across your face. So again, follow the rule of thirds, here or here, get good lighting, look right into the camera lens. And again, that's distracting when you're off to the side and you see all this movement. You got to keep focused on that as best you can. And that's a learning process. It's going to take time. Have the camera pretty much straight on. You don't want it looking up your nose. You don't want it looking down on top of your head. You want to keep your camera or your phone pretty much straight on. Now, where that's going to become an issue is when you get like an iPhone, smartphone tripod. You want to get this. This is absolutely mandatory for any kind of filming that you're going to do, is that you have a tripod, whether it's a DSLR camera or your smartphone, Android or iPhone. You really want a tripod. It's going to have a C-clamp on it like this. That's going to clip your phone down into it so that you have a tripod for your phone to use, so that it clamps into your phone like that. That way you're not holding it or just propping it up on a book or something like that. That can be okay, but you really want just a nice stable tripod. You don't want to drop your phone, break your phone. And so an iPhone or a smartphone tripod is going to have a C-clamp on it. And those things are usually relatively short, about 12 to 18 inches. So you're going to want to put that up on something to get it level with your face while you're filming, while you're doing your sermon. You really want to pay attention to what's behind you. And again, I'm not just doing a great job on this in this video for the access to my laptop and my resources here I want to show you. You don't want a plant coming out of your head. You don't want a wire coming down into out of your head. Just pay attention to what's behind you, so that people don't have distractions, so that they're really focused on you. Good lighting bouncing off your eyes, third of the screen. These are just some simple basic things that any of us can do. Again, universal things with any setup. Look at your clothing, and I haven't even paid attention on this video. Like if my collar's flipped up or something like this and I'm filming, that's really distracting to people when they're watching. And so whenever you get your smartphone and you get the camera facing you, just take a good look at yourself. Do I look disheveled? Do I look okay? And again, it's not looking up my nose. It's not looking down on my head. It's just looking straight ahead. This is just going to help people get a really good angle on what it is I'm trying to do. A good iPhone, smartphone tripod's about $20 on Amazon. They're really not expensive. Don't get something super cheap. Don't get something super huge. Just get something small and compact. They get more expensive. You can spend $100 on one, but there's really no need to do that. DSLR tripods are a little more expensive. They can be $100, $150 for a good one. You don't have to spend that much, but you can. And so here's the next piece I want to do. Just a simple setup. You kind of have your setup, your environment right, some good lighting. Maybe you have like a good sliding barn door somewhere in your building at church. Just get in front of that. Something appealing behind you that looks nice. that's engaging, that looks like you've thought about that. Here's a simple setup, very inexpensive, nearly free. Take your smartphone, get a $20 tripod, get a $20 like Boya, B-O-Y-A smartphone microphone. And because here's the deal, smartphones, mics are just not very good. The quality's just not what you want. And you know, if you're gonna use the smartphone mic, the internal mic from your phone, you're gonna have to get up pretty close and you're gonna have to speak up. And that will do, that's okay, that actually will work. But if you're gonna get a little further away on it, you're gonna want, again, a lav, a smartphone clip-on mic, kind of like what I have here. This is not a smartphone mic, but it's, you know, the same idea, because my camera is too far away and my internal camera mic is not gonna pick up the audio as good or as clear as I would like it to. And so I've added this mic. You can get a shotgun mic for your camera, those are good, but again, you gotta be a little closer for that really to work. And so again, here's a simple setup. If you got an iPhone 8 or better, it's going to have even a high def rear facing camera. So turn your camera to face yourself, hit the little button that switches the front camera to the back camera so you can see yourself. This allows you to make sure that you're in one of the thirds, left or right thirds of the screen. And then again, get it close enough, speak up, that's absolutely free. If you want to go absolutely free, prop it on some songbooks. Those hymnals finally have a use. You've been using PowerPoint for so long. Prop it on a hymnal. And again, rear face it, speak up. And hit the record button, begin speaking. When you're done, hit end. Hit the record button again, end it, take your video. And here's what you're going to do. If you're in an iPhone especially, and I don't know Android as well, but I'm going to speak to iPhone. You can go to edit on your video, and there's a crop feature that puts two little yellow ends on your video. And you're just going to pull in the beginning and just pull in the end to get you taking this out. When you hit record, the camera's going to get you pulling away. When you hit stop, the camera's going to get you hitting the stop button. Just cut off your two ends. Now, again, your production value is a little bit not as good because you got to get all this in one shot. Now, I will say, live stream is also one shot. And if you mess up, you mess up. And we're just trying to get our content to people. And so that's not maybe as big of a deal. But if that suffices for you and all you need is a simple setup, you probably already have a smartphone. You've got some hymnals to prop up on, but a $20 tripod would be nice, although it might take a month to get there right now. And again, a Boya lav mic, smartphone lav mic. And you can run it from your phone to yourself. And those things are really, really good. And I want to say something about mics real quick because this throws people sometimes. So you're going to plug the Boya mic into the little dongle for your iPhone. This goes from a, I don't want to get too technical with you here, but it's called a TRRS. Let me explain this as simply as I know how. Smartphone jacks are different than normal stereo jacks. And let me illustrate this. Here's a normal stereo plug. Okay, let's see if I can get that to focus on that. All right, that's a normal stereo plug, and you'll see it has two black bands on it. This is like what an iPhone would use there, and it has three black bands on it. And that's because iPhones have a microphone built into that. So like when you plug your headphones in to your iPhone, you're going to notice it has the three bands on it. That's because it has a left ear, a right ear, however that works on your screen, and it has a microphone input on it. And that allows your headphones to also be able to talk while you do a call with your headphones in or do Zoom conference with your headphones in. And so in order for, so a smartphone mic like a Boya, here's the deal, smartphone mic like a Boya fits right into this. You don't need any adapter. If you don't get a smartphone mic, if you just got a mic laying around somewhere and you want to plug it into your iPhone, guess what? You can't just plug a normal mic into this dongle and put it in your iPhone. It won't work because the iPhone is looking for the three rings. And so there's a little adapter that you buy for this, and it's actually what I'm showing you. And it goes from a normal stereo like this with the two rings, and you would plug that in, and then you would plug in this little adapter. I'll put a link to the adapter in the description into the dongle. And see what, again, all that's doing is taking a 2-ring and turning it into a 3-ring. So you can plug any mic you want into your iPhone, but you have to have that little adapter or else your phone's not going to know what to do. It's not going to be lined up properly. But again, all you got to do is buy the Boya mic, $20, $19.99 I think, and you're going to have exactly what you need, and you don't need any adapter for that. You're going to be good to go. You plug that into your dongle, plug it into your phone, you're going to get so much better audio. people are going to tune out of your video if your audio is horrible. And so again, smartphone audio is just not the best. Internal mics. So that's your simple setup. iPhone 8 or better, set it on some hymnals, get a cheap iPhone C-clamp tripod, and use your internal mic if you're close, or if you're going to be a little further away, you're going to need a wired mic. There are ways of using your wireless mics from church probably to do that, but that could get a little complicated. We can talk about that more later. So the other thing that you're going to run into is sometimes on an iPhone, when the videos go long, like say a sermon length video, which you do have to make sure you have enough space in your phone to record that. Sometimes the audio and video get out of sync with an iPhone for some reason. And if that happens on your video where your mouth is moving not quite right with the video and with the words, the audio, then you're going to want to go to Google and type in Handbrake, Handbrake, and download Handbrake and just run it through that. And I'm gonna do a screenshot of running Handbrake on a video and put that in there for you so you can see exactly how to use Handbrake. It's very, very simple. And that's going to line up your audio and your video from frame 1 so that it's correct. All right, so that's stage 1. Simple setup, free setup, smartphone, hymnals, get close, speak up, trim the ends, good to go. It's pre-recorded, post it on your Facebook page, post it on YouTube at the top of your church Facebook page. You can post a new post. You can click photo or video. Click the video, upload the video, title it, describe it, tag it in Facebook, and it will process it. You can even set a time for it to post. So you can schedule it for like 10 o'clock, 10:30 on Sunday morning and tell the congregation, go to the church Facebook page. It'll post at 10:30, and all your members are watching it. Even though it's pre-recorded, they're all watching it at the same time. Same thing with YouTube. You can schedule it on YouTube. That's no problem. Put a time in for it instead of just saying post it now. Put in underneath that, there's a place to schedule it. And you can say, again, 10:30 on Sunday morning. It's going to give you a video link. But what I would suggest is saying premiere. If you say premiere, when people go to that link, it's not just going to be a dead link. It's going to say video coming in 10 hours or 12 hours or 1 hour or 30 minutes. And then people know to wait for it. It's a premiere. That way everyone's, again, watching it at the same time. They can't chat on a premiere like they can on a live stream, but it still gets everybody watching at the same time. So that's a very simple setup. You probably already have everything that you need. It wouldn't even cost you anything. If you get the lav mic from Boya and you get the tripod, you spent $40 and you have pretty much everything you need. Now, if you want better quality than that, it gets more time intensive and it gets more cost intensive. And so let's talk a bit about that. And again, we'll do some individual videos on some of these components to help you along the way. So if you want a better camera, you're really going to want to go with a DSLR. So this is like a Canon 70D or a Canon 80D. These can be hundreds of dollars. A Canon 80D without any bells and whistles, about $850. You can get a Canon Rebel 6i for less than that, maybe $300 or $400. That's actually a decent camera. A 70D is a good camera. And see, what you want to make sure your DSLR has is that it has a mic input. If you don't have a mic input, you're going to have to record your audio separately, which means buy an audio recorder like a Zoom H4n or H4n Pro or an H6, or just the tiny little Zoom, which is about $100. The bigger ones are $200, $300, $400. But you want to get one that has a mic input. The Rebel 6i and the 70D and the 80D all have that. That's a huge plus because it's going to sync up your audio and your video. You can take that same Boya mic and plug it right in the side of that DSLR camera and you're good to go. You're going to want to get a really good tripod. I use a Manfrotto traveling tripod, which is really a helpful tripod. It's very small, compact. It does a great job. It's very sturdy. It has a leveler in it, so you get it just right. DSLR mics are really not good. Just like a smartphone, they're really not good. So you're going to want to wire up a mic. Again, $20, you're good. The mic you're going to buy is probably going to be omnidirectional. And what that means is it's going to pick up ambient noise. It's going to pick up around it. Now, what I've noticed with omnidirectional tends to actually work better for me. Cardioid is a heart-shaped pattern in front of your mic. It's going to pick up right here. Now, what's good about that is it doesn't pick up the ambient noise like a heater's running or cars are going by, but what it's going, or like I just hit my window shade and that made some noise. A cardioid's only going to pick up right here, but what I've noticed with cardioids on lav mics like this, lapel mics, is the popping letters. often pop on a cardioid mic. And so the cheaper mics, the $20 mics, are all omnidirectional. I'm on an omnidirectional mic right now. And so you're going to want to plug that into your DSLR. You're going to want to get a decent lens. You know, you can get the Canon 24 millimeter for $150. Now, the lens that I really like is the 50 millimeter. They call it the Nifty 50. It's about $99, and you do have to get your lens a little further away again, which means you got to mic up. But it does a really good job on the focus, on the aperture, getting light in, sufficient light, and also blurring backgrounds and things behind you. It's called bokeh. That really makes you stand out in the video frame. If you want higher production quality, you're going to want to get a good light. The light that I'd use is the newer ring light, and I'll put the link to that. It's about $99 in the description of the video. That's a good LED light that puts out a good quality light, content of light, brightness, has filters. It's really, really a good thing. Again, about $100. And that, again, the problem right now is that may take some time to get to you. So let's talk about video editing. Now, the software that I use is called Premiere Elements. And there's a package that you can buy off of Amazon for $99 right now. It's normally $149. It's Adobe Premiere Elements plus Adobe Premiere Elements plus Adobe Photoshop Elements. And so that's going to give you just the basic bells and whistles of video editing with Premiere and photo editing with Photoshop, which is going to help you make good thumbnails for your YouTube videos and to do any kind of image stuff that you want to do within your video quite easily. I'll do a tutorial on that later on. I'll do a tutorial on Premiere Elements, but that's the way that I would go. There are other video editing software that people use that we could talk about. I'll put a few options in the description, but I'm not going to go into how to use those. You can look those up on your own. I'm just not as familiar with those. So the last couple things we need to talk about, and I'm going to do some more video work on these, is editing, which we just kind of briefly mentioned. There'll be a video on that. Uploading, YouTube and Facebook, and then copyright. You really have to understand copyright, because you can get yourself in a real mess if you're broadcasting worship, if you're using other people's songs, if you are taking video and putting them into your video and then producing that as if it's your own. Keith Lancaster has done a good job with praiseandharmony.tv that they help you very easily get the licensing right if you want to use that in your live stream. But I don't know that you can use that away from live stream, like pre-recorded. I'm not so sure you can do that. And so, you know, that's something you have to be very, very careful with. We will do an entire video on YouTube, on the thumbnails, tagging, uploading, descriptions, getting your channel started, set up, signing in, all of that, so that you know exactly where to start, exactly what to do. Again, Facebook is a good option, but not all your members may be on Facebook. And so that may exclude them and make it harder for them to access that. That's why I've chosen YouTube. So here's my setup. I'll give you my setup in a nutshell. I'm recording on a Canon DSLR on a Manfrotto tripod. I've got a new NEEWER ring light, and I'm recording on a Handy H4n Pro. I'll put the links to all that in the description. I'll work through the Handy 4n Pro setup so you can see a few things to do with that will make your life much, much easier to avoid some of the mistakes that I've made along the way. And so we can learn from each other. We can teach each other things. That's very, very important. Whatever questions you have, again, feel free to text me, call me, email me, let me know so we can get you set up and help you get the kinks worked out with all this. 334-750-9919. And I just want to be a resource and asset for all of this, for whatever needs that you may have going forward. So thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button so that you get future videos, and we'll catch you in the future videos on video editing, YouTube uploading, the audio, copyright, all those things we're going to be discussing so that you have the tools and information that you need to move ahead in a way that will help your congregation have continuity and be encouraged by the messages that you have to share. And let's use this technology for years to come, because we're being equipped now for the next generation, the generations that follow. And this is just a wonderful opportunity for us to learn, stretch, and grow. So I'm thankful that you're watching, and I hope and pray this is a blessing to you. Take care. Catch you next time.